Welcome to my podcast, Empowered Talk, the gateway to a more empowered and enriched life. Empowered Talk is not just a podcast, it's a transformative journey where we bring the compelling the success stories. So, let me introduce myself first before I introduce my very special guest today. Well, my name is Arpita Chatterjee, and I embarked my professional career at the age of 19 years as a receptionist, and eventually I reached the position of business head. For last 5 years, I'm learning from eminent life coaches and become a certified mindset coach. And also, I have written my first book, Mindset is Everything, which will be launched in the month of February. So let's welcome our very special guest, Richa. Thank you so much, Richa, for joining my podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Arpita. Thank you so much for inviting me. Very happy to see you.
Very happy to see you as well. Okay, so Richa, as like today, what we will need to discuss about, silence to strength, because I know that you are very calm and very soft spoken. But of course, I know that your story also that you have struggled a lot and you have transformed yourself. So like you had such a diverse journey, like from Kuwait to Delhi to Gurgaon. So, can you please share a bit about your early years and what shaped your sense of identity growing up?
Sure, Arpita. So I was born and brought up in Kuwait, and I did my schooling there. And I moved to Delhi for 2 years to do my college, but then I had to go back, and I continued working in Kuwait. So during my childhood, I was a very quiet, introverted, very nerdy student. I mean, books were everything to me. So I would go to school, I'd come back, then I'd study again. And at night also I would love reading fiction. That was like an habit that my mom inculcated in me. Uh, but so outside everything seemed very stable, very privileged. But on the inside there were various issues that of course you are also aware of. And so I would say that internally I was quite broken and putting up a facade. Probably studies were my motivation that kept me going also. Eventually in 2012, I moved to India before my parents moved here. And I ran a preschool for 3 years before I moved to Gurgaon. And because I had some time on my hands, so I decided to do one semester of French. But I would say thanks to destiny, I found my new passion. And yeah, I continued learning up till C1 level, and I've been teaching ever since.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, teaching is a very good profession, and of course, when you teach others, of course, there are a lot of learning you also gain. Because I also worked 2 years as a teacher, so I know that. But as you mentioned that you are a very bright student and even got through I think John Hopkins, right? So, what did that phase of your life teach you about ambition or dreams and limitation? Like obviously you said that ambitions, like you have learned your French language and all. So what do you feel that how you have got to know that how you have to dream and what you need to be lose some ambitions and all? Share something about that.
So, we talk a lot about goals in our community, and ever since I was in my early teens, I think I was very sure that I wanted to become a scientist and work on curing deadly diseases. Um, And for that reason, John Hopkins was my, let's say, go-to university. It was my dream university. And I worked really hard. I did my SAT 1, SAT 2s, lots of volunteering, everything that I could do to get into my dream school. And then one midnight, I get an email that you have been accepted, early decision from John Hopkins. So what that taught me was that, yes, if you put in the effort, I would say aligned and the correct type of effort into your towards your dreams, you really can make them come into life. However, the fact that I could not eventually go because I wasn't allowed to shows that, ambition doesn't suffice. You also need support, and certain things are not in your control. And Yeah, eventually that is life, and you have to learn to adapt, which it took me a long time to adapt, which is why I went through a very low phase later in.
Yeah. By saying this, I know that you have also gone through a phase of depression, like as you have shared with me that you have long, I think 1 or 2 year have faced depression itself. But what was your turning point that made you say enough is enough? Now I need to, not to be in this depression mode, and I need to take charge of my healing process. So, what is the turning point?
So I've been on not just 1 or 2 years, I would say for almost 2 decades, I was going through a depression. It was undiagnosed because no one at home understood it. Probably for the first few years, even I did not understand what I was going through. And so rather than being in a fight or flight mode, I was in freeze mode, wherein I was surviving, but there was no action happening. I was just stuck at one place, I would say mentally. And earlier, I used to not talk much as well. So there was no venting out, which is why sort of the body was also keeping store. Eventually, let's say around 2018, when I made a few very good friends after moving back here, after moving here, I started talking, but that talking turned into venting, and that venting went into a spiral wherein because I had not talked for so many years, I had stored so much inside me, it just kept coming out, wherein it became a vicious cycle, and I was not getting any solution out of it. Like my friends would listen to me, they're very sweet, but I think even they were tired because I just kept venting. So, and I was also in that people pleasing phase where I wanted external validation rather than, validating myself from the inside or having self love. I think self love, self worth had gone for a toss. It was zero, I would say, maybe even negative if that's possible. So, and then for the last few years, as you know, I was also taking care of my mom. It's very unwell. So, sometime at the mid of last year, 2024, when I felt like, I can't go any lower than this now. There's nothing left for me. So either I would take a drastic step, but I mean, if you want to call me a coward, I didn't take that step. I decided, no, I want to really heal myself now. So that's how I came to it. And it started with first talking to a doctor and starting some medication, and because the probably I would say because the universe had heard me and knew that now I really want to cure myself, to heal myself and to move forward in life, that within a few days one of my friends sent me the link to our coaches webinar, and that's how I joined the community as well. And yeah, since then it's been a upward curve, I would say.
Yes, those who don't know that we have common mentor, Miss Ritu Agarwal, who is the energy queen, and that's the reason we all have learned how to raise our energy. So you have wonderfully said that yes, of course, when you are in a depression or in a low state of mind, we always think a negative thing. Always wanted to maybe we are not happy with our life, so we want to destroy our life. We don't have anything to that. So that transformation step is itself is very important step. But as a woman, what you feel that like why women can't take this step of transformation? Because I know that I think everyone is one point of time has faced this kind of thing when they are low, not only women, men's also. So
Mm.
what are the things that you feel that really stop them, and what are the thing that they need to take that one step, that courage will come? So what the person need to do? So what you got, what guidance or what step you can would like to suggest to all women?
So first of all, I understand why women don't uh, take the step. Even men, for that case, I would say, there is not much support when it comes to mental health and towards, let's say, past trauma and healing. So that could be one, and probably that for me was also one of the reasons where I felt like I didn't have the support to speak up. Uh, but what is most important and what really helped me is when I decided to, despite the circumstances, take that one step of calling up a doctor and saying, hey, I need help. So, be it whatever kind of help you need, just ask for it. If you can get it within your close circle, perfect. Otherwise, reach out to professionals, reach out to coaches who can help you, even if it's like a therapist. It depends from case to case. But asking, like, use your voice and ask for help, and then connect with the right kind of mentor or therapist, or maybe even close friends or family who can help. I think that's
Absolutely.
very
And it's not so simple to ask help, especially when you are in down, because we are our brought up is like that. We always feel that लोग क्या कहेंगे, and that's why you say ना सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग. No, that exactly is our mentality, that we always feel if you can express our problem, maybe people can start judging us. But
yeah,
helping is definitely very very important step. What Richa has told us, that is something is very important, that whenever you feel that you can't, and that help, asking help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength, because you have
absolutely.
courage. That's the reason you are asking help. So, and the thing, Richa, that you have shared, and even I know I can also feel your pain, because I also lost my mother long back, when she also suffered a lot, like she has a multiple problem and all. But I also feel that by going through all those things, that give me a lot of strength, because that give me that resilience. So what kind of you have got the courage when you lost your mother after so much of illness, you took care and all, I know that phase. So how you feel that, what, of course, that there's no alternate of you losing your close one, but what strength that you got after that incident when you lose your mother?
So I would say is that I'm still learning the lessons that I have to learn. Yesterday was just 6 months since I lost my mom, and but even while I was taking care of her, I can say that I learned that I have a lot of internal strength, because I myself was going through depression for 15 plus years when I started taking care of her. And things that I had not done for myself, for anyone else, I did for my mom. 24/7, I was always there for her. So I learned that I have a lot of courage, and a lot of strength. I just didn't, put it towards my healing earlier. But when it came to my mom, I was ready to be there. So I also know that I am always ready to give to others. But ever since I've come into the community, I've learned also now to receive. I've lost my mom, yes, but I feel that the strength I have received from taking care of her, and the kind of bond that I was able to form with her in the last 5.5 years while she was ill, is something that keeps me going. And then, along with that, I would say the community has been amazing. I have been showered with a lot of love, support. Anytime I feel low, I can just pick up. I think that's one great thing about having these kind of communities, is where women are ready to support each other at any point of time. Generally I see people talking about how women back bitch and whatnot, but I have not seen any of that within us. So, in fact, yesterday itself, I met two of our common friends from this community, and we were able to talk out over certain issues that were going on and help each other. So, as you say, like, queens fix each other's crowns without telling anyone else. So that is the kind of support that I've got. And that's what keeps me going, apart from, of course, the practices that I do. And I think my mom's everlasting love that is within me.
I understand absolutely, and maybe you could not able to realize, but I believe that when you are unselfishly doing something for other, we automatically generate that compassion, and that is something is very 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 nice thing that I felt. Because when you develop that compassion, that really help, and that's the reason that you correctly said, in our community, all the people have that compassion, that unselfishly doing for some others, helping others. That is really I think long way to go. Like if you are really have this kind of traits you developed, that definitely help you in long way itself. So you're also you just now you also shared with us that initially you are venting and later transforming that into conscious healing. And what helped you shift from pain based expression to solution based growth?
So definitely, I mean, for me, the turning point was joining the community and sort of following the practices that ma'am has mentioned. So for me, I think initially what really helped me for the first few months was having a solid routine. So the practices and the, I would say, the habits that ma'am has told us to do, um, although it was available to be done on a PDF, I wrote them down on a piece of paper every day and I would tick them off. That okay, today I've done my meditation, today I've done my prayer, or I've done my ho'oponopono, today I've written my gratitude. All of these small practices. The biggest thing for me was celebrating my wins. I used to not realize that small wins are to be celebrated. I used to not even consider them as wins. But today, if I've done a class and I felt good about giving my best to a student, I write it down as a win. So these are the small practices that have helped me move from venting towards looking at the more positive side of life. And of course, there are points when I feel low. I may miss my mom. There may be situations that are not so good. I pick up one of the practices that works for me. For example, I was feeling a little anxious before I joined the podcast because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be part of a podcast. So I just did a little ho'oponopono before I joined you. That helps me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's very, very sweet of you that you said openly that you feel, and actually you all feel anxious, all feel scared. But fear and confidence is not about fear could disappear. Confidence is all about that. We should move on despite the fear, and that exactly we all are doing. Like we really moving on, and that is something is very important. So in that way, what I would like to know that in your view, like why do so many women stay silent? Even I have seen that women are facing domestic violence in their home and a lot of things there, but still they keep silence, and even there are a lot of empowerment, everything we hear, but still I have seen that one phase, like there are a lot of women are still there who are keep in silent despite their pain. And so how can we as a society encourage them to find their voice?
So I would say that conditioning is a major part of it because we have been conditioned, not just we, maybe probably we are the first generation who are trying to break this conditioning. But in the past, especially my mom's generation and the generations before it, were taught that women have to continuously keep giving without asking and without expressing any kind of pain. Um, and I don't know, you might be aware of this expression ki ab tumhari arthi hi ghar aayegi. So no matter what
Mm,
happens in your marital home, you deal with
yeah.
it and you only come back as a dead body.
Mm,
Uh, yes, things are changing. People like me and people in our community are talking about empowering women.
mm,
But what will really help is not just us talking about it, but as a society as a whole, coming together and giving safe spaces to women
right.
and a lot of compassion and empathy to be able to express themselves. Like if I have a problem at home, I should be able to come to anyone and say, this is the problem. And people are empathetic rather than judging me or asking me questions as in what did I do wrong, right? The first thing that happens is women are asking, तुमने कुछ गलत करा होगा तभी ऐसा
Exactly.
हुआ. Yeah. So no judgment, no interrogation, just a lot of safe space and just hold the space for that person to express and then move them towards a solution.
Very true. Another thing that you have said earlier, that self love, because God help those who help themselves. I believe that self love
Absolutely.
and that is something is very important. Rather than women's earlier, like women are so dependent on especially the parents or the husband. They always wait the moment that when they love, when they care, and when they can give us opportunity. But now we have to create our own opportunity of our own. For that it's very important that we have to stand out, we have to start loving ourselves. And if you don't love yourself, how can you love others, right? That is also something that every woman
Very
should
true.
realize, this thing that if you really wanted to love your family, want to love society or anyone, first important thing is that you have to love yourself. So that is something is very important, I believe.
Absolutely agree with
Yeah. So, if I ask you that if you could speak to your younger self, because I know that a younger, of course, you have a very tough time, or I know you have faced some abuses and all that thing. So, the girl who felt lost and unheard, and what would you tell her today as a younger person? What you became? I can. That exactly my question. That.
I would just tell her that she's not sensitive and she's not broken for feeling the way that she is. And I would like to tell her that eventually, as time has gone on, she has become a stronger version of herself. Probably the strength was already there. It is now just coming out, like she's tapping into that strength. And not only she's speaking up for herself, but she's also speaking for women as a whole and for anyone else who may need support. So yeah, I want her to feel proud of herself no matter what. Maybe we've not achieved the dreams that we had thought of, but we have new dreams now.
True, true, very true. So, what's your ambition now? What do you wanted to become? Like, what do you wanted to do? Because you know friends, you have already a teaching profession. So, what exactly your now the ambition in life?
So I would love to continue teaching. That is more of a passion, I would say. But apart from that, I think something that's very important to me is to continue, maybe through an NGO, funding the education of underprivileged girl children so that they can become educated and start taking their own decisions, become empowered enough to take their own decisions, and also to, I would say, improve their family's condition. Along with that, I would like to be part of an NGO wherein we are helping women who have, or girls who have been through or who are going through any kind of domestic violence, which is not only physical, it could be emotional, financial, sexual, any of the kind. These are two very.
True, true, very true. So, what message you'd like to give to all the audience or the who are going to watch this podcast? Like, what message you want to give as a woman, as a teacher, as healer?
I think I would say that continue healing yourself, continue tapping into the resource because the resources are already within us. So tap into the resources, and any moment you're feeling low or any moment you feel there's some problem, seek out support. There will definitely be a tribe. Like I found my tribe, including you, Arpita. So there's a tribe available to help. And yeah, I just want them to know that empowerment is not just about independence or financial independence. It's about feeling, you know, I would say at ease in your own body and feeling completely in love with yourself, not in a narcissistic sort of way, but you do not need external validation. You just you're happy with yourself, and then you can work towards your goals and empowering, I guess, society also.
Very true, very true. And what exactly the empowerment means to you? Like woman empowerment that we all say that what do you feel that woman when the woman will be empowered, what do you see feel like that?
That is exactly what I was mentioning, Arpita. So empowerment, of course, means having financial freedom, having the independence to be able to take your own decisions. But as I said, for me, I feel like as a young girl and as a younger, I would say adult also, I never felt at ease in my own body or in my mind. So first getting a woman or a girl to that stage wherein she wakes up and she's calm, she's peaceful, she's aligned, she's happy within herself. Because within herself she's happy, and then she's also, because when you're at peace, you're able to think more clearly about the situations around you and see what can be done to improve them and to work towards your goals. Yes, and definitely I would want all women to be financially and educationally empowered. Education for me is the key. I could not complete that dream, and I think now I'm helping other kids through teaching. So, yeah, education, finances, and feel at ease in your own body and mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is something that's very, very basic and, of course, at the same time, very, very important. So, thank you so much, Richa, for joining my podcast. Anything that you want to share which you have missed in our conversation, feel free to share the last and final message and to our all audience who are going to watch this podcast. Anything that you want to share from your heart to anything.
um, yeah, keep falling more in love with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, I love you. I am just happy the way I am. And as I got the support, I would love for you all to please support others around you to help them come out of their problems and work towards solution. rather than being in that low phase.
Beautiful. And that's you are beautifully said. Love is something a very powerful feeling. Generally, we hate very easily, but we will take a lot of strength to love. But once we develop this system of loving even those who are hurting us, even those who are breaked us, still if you start loving them, because that also comes from you. If you are hating someone,
Yeah.
that also goes from you. Same thing. So that is very beautiful message, Richa, you have given to all of us, that love is something very important. And of course, support. Of course, more you love others, more you support others. When everyone is support each other, that becomes a very strong community. So thank you so much once again for joining my
Thank you,
podcast,
Arpita.
and wish you all the
It's been
luck,
my pleasure.
and hope you'll get more and more better future. And newer is also coming, so happy new year in advance, and hope your new year
Happy New Year.
the best year. 2026 will be the best year.
Absolutely. To you too, Arpita.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.